Mr. John.
Yeah, what's going on, Ira? This
How's
thing
it
is still, oh, I see. I'm delayed on YouTube. There we go. So here we go. Sorry about that. Welcome to the Predictive Playbook here. We're doing a quick hitter. And welcome to everybody that's going to watch this show, because I think I'm going to change Ira's name. And by the way, he can be found at Ira Silver Magic. He is an independent professional bettor, but I'm willing to bet that he's going to be on the predictiveplaybook.com pretty darn soon. And I'll give you zero guesses who runs that site, Ira.
Yeah, it's a good buddy of mine. I'm excited to potentially be a part of it. And yeah, we should just change my my Twitter handle to Silver Magic Parlays, right?
Yes, absolutely, and that's not bragging. And what he's going to do, at least try to do, and I know it's hard to do because sometimes you make a bet, like I did the Oral Roberts. So how do you get that bet out when there's a minute 20 to go in the game and everybody can also take advantage of it? But most of your parlays obviously are done before any of those games start, so it might be a little bit easier. But even for me, I sometimes forget, like, oh, I'm going to do this little, money line between two dogs parlay just for pizza money, and then it just slips your mind to put it out there on Twitter because our days are so busy to begin with.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you're at the casino in the window, then everybody's talking to you, and it's that part sometimes is not fun.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, I know you want to get into some of the sports here. You and I have been talking golf, and I'm not sure how those matches are going because I just haven't had time to look at them. But if you want to comment on some of the things and the plays that we are making, on the ESPN show with David Behrman, I went with Fleetwood, and I know he liked Paul Casey quite a bit. And last I saw, it looked like both of them right now are going to make it through, despite Casey losing his first match and Fleetwood tying his first match.
Yeah, right now you got Casey up 3 through 11 over Webb Simpson in the last round here. And you also have Fleetwood up 1 through 17 against Bryson DeChambeau. I know we spoke earlier.
He's up 4.
Yeah, I'm not he was up 4. He's up 1 now. But listen, I'm not the biggest golf guy in the world. I will be the first one to tell you that. But we had a nice conversation this morning between me and you, and we came up with some pretty decent plays between the two of us. So we're watching and we're sweating, and there's a few holes left in the early rounds. So it's been a good morning so far. I can't complain.
Yeah, me too. It's like the way you lead me in the NHL, where you teach me a lot of things about the NHL. I think it's almost like the reverse, I guess, a little bit in the golf. But you're a smart enough guy. You're gonna pick up on it very, very fast. It'll probably take you about a week, and you'll be doing in-game betting and saying, "Look at this, John. Look at this."
Yeah.
And I'll love it.
I actually ended up playing another one that we didn't talk about, but I ended up playing Max Homa today over JT Poston, and Homa is up 3 through 12. So it's another good
call
there. Yeah, I thought it was a good spot for Homa to kind of bounce back. He's 1-1 in his group. He's obviously a superior golfer to JT Poston, and he's been, in pretty good form over the last couple of months as well. I've always liked Homa. It was just a matter of time before he got his game together. So it looks like he's in good form right now, and I took a little slice with Homa this morning. But anyways, let's move on to I know we only got about 10 minutes here, so why don't we I want to start off. I'm having a tough time with this line. I'm having a tough time with this game. Maybe you have a little bit of insight. We talked briefly about it offline before the show, but Villanova tomorrow against Baylor. Baylor is an 8-point favorite tomorrow against the 5 seed Villanova. But this Villanova team is pretty good, I've said it before on the show. A lot of my college basketball handicapping comes through Haslam Metrics, HaslamMetrics.com. Eric Haslam doing a great job over there. Been using his site for many years. I'm a big proponent in terms of college betting by watching teams, gathering information kind of in my own weird, eccentric way for college basketball, and then using Haslam's site to really hone down on efficiencies and matchup predictions. So for me, this one screams Villanova. Haslam actually has this one as only about about 4 points. He has Baylor favored by about 4 here in this matchup. And if you look deeper into the numbers, Baylor is obviously very efficient in what they do on the offensive side of the ball. They're number 2 in efficiency. But if you look at Nova, they actually get a lot of easy baskets compared to Baylor. Nova is near proximity percentage. They're ranked number 5th in the country. And that basically talks about field goal percentage versus the average percentage closest to the rim, whereas Baylor is only ranked 60th. While 60 is still very good, Villanova seems to get easier positions as well. I like Villanova. I think that it's a decent spot. Listen, I'm not going all out. I'm not going crazy. I'm not going to the bank and taking out my entire savings on it. But at the end of the day, I think it's a good spot for Nova plus 8 points. And Baylor, with this whole, they had a big layoff with COVID and it messes a lot of things up. They do look good, but I think I would take a little bit of action here with Villanova tomorrow plus 8. What do you think?
I'm still on the fence. Gillespie, was the transmission of that engine at Villanova. And I'm concerned that they played probably the easiest 2 games they could have played to get to this point. And that doesn't help my analysis. What does help is what you just said with Eric Haslam, our buddy over there, with just a tremendous site.
Fantastic.
And it's free. So, we're not trying to sell you anything. Just go over there and check it out. Some people like data. Like, I can't get enough of it. And so you out there, want to hear us talk about it, but you don't really need to know, for example, what the definition of p-value is or even care about it. You just want to know who we think is going to win. And, we get that. And we want to know who you think is going to win as well. But, Jay Wright is the X factor hands down. And, coaching is so monumentally important in the tournament. Baylor has, I guess some people think he's arguably a great coach, and he seems to be a little polarizing at the same time on the negative side of the spectrum. But you are right; he has Villanova just barely 4 points underdog to Baylor.
And I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Haslam metrics takes into account Gillespie not being there, so I'm not too sure. But I'm just going to go.
It takes in consideration how they've been playing as a team. And as you know, I sometimes, I don't focus on names nearly as much as I do team performance. Because at this level, and this is another wild card, is Jay Wright has 4-star recruits sitting on the bench, just dying to get into the game now that Gillespie's out. And not just because he's out, they want to step up and help their leader. And that's the real motivating factor for the Villanova team, is that they have a teammate who they admire greatly. He is a loved kid at Villanova, period. And that's what makes me want to lean Villanova, because I think if there was ever a time for them to give the win one for the Gipper type of thing, this is the game. And you have an incredible coach in Jay Wright.
And while you're talking about this, Tommy Fleetwood has the most ridiculous shot right here on 18. He is stuck in the worst position I've ever seen on a golf course, probably. And he hit it horribly. Yeah, that was expected. Anyways, what a choke.
Well, that's going to be that could end up being a half, which means then, wow, I think that means DeChambeau goes. Because Fleetwood would end up 1 win, no losses, 2 ties. Or no, he would actually end up 1 loss, 2 ties.
I think DeChambeau's out of it unless Zalatoris loses. But anyways,
yeah.
I digress. So anyways, tomorrow should be interesting with Villanova Baylor. I'm going to take a little slice there. And then obviously we talked about this on the last show we were doing together. I like USC money line tomorrow night as well. Sunday night as well, minus 130, minus 128, whatever you can get it at. But I like USC here quite a bit. Everybody playing the Dana Altman narrative. And while he is a great coach, I just don't think that the talent on Oregon's basketball team is the same as USC's with the Mobley brothers, and I forget the shooter who's very good over there. But no, I just don't see it happening. I like USC here in this matchup as well. Any thoughts for you on that game?
I'm on USC. This one I can agree with you more. It's incredible how the Big Ten has not played so well. It's not that they played poorly. They just lost. They got beat. And that can be debated forever now, whether it's them beating themselves up among the best teams in the country for 3 months and then having nothing left in the tank for the tournament, or whether the Pac-12 was just grossly undervalued.
First of all, they're undervalued every year because the East Coast narrative bias of sports announcers all over ESPN and whatnot. So I get frustrated with it every year. I'm obviously a USC alum, so there is a big bias. Everyone's already sleeping when kickoff or tip-off happens on the West Coast for Pac-12 play. So I always think that the Pac-12 is slightly undervalued every year. So I try to find value in those numbers as well. But yeah, it's interesting that both Pac-12 teams are playing each other, but I just think USC has too much talent that overmatch. And I don't think Dana Altman has a huge edge against Andy Enfield. I really don't. I think he's a great coach at SC, and I'm excited to watch the game, and obviously I'll be rooting for USC.
You got 50% of the tickets, 88% of the money. That's a little bit high on the money side to my liking. But we have 2 full days of betting yet to go before this game tips off at 9:45 on Sunday night. It's actually the last game of the Sweet 16. So I think you'll see that number come down a little bit, but it still favors USC. USC opened as 1-point favorites. They're now up to 2 at the majority of the Vegas casinos that I'm looking at right now. Minus 1.5 at South Point, minus 1.5 at Bet Online, which is obviously not a Vegas casino. But 138 is the total too. So if you take that and divide it by 2, that comes out to 69 points. So if USC scores more than 71, I know for a fact from my database that they increasingly become more likely to cover the spread. So in other words, they hit 71, that's great. They probably cover. They probably win the game. Obviously, they win the game. But the more they exceed that measure, the closer they get to 77, the closer they get to 81, then they win by a greater margin.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be some good in-game opportunities as well. I mean, better than I do that I love, I talk about it all the time, so it's ingrained in your head, but I love the in-game betting. So, maybe once I make it a predictive playbook, maybe we could get a little Discord, group chat going where I would in real time give the members the in-game wager that's going on and say, I play this up to, let's say the live line I got was 2.5. I'd say I played up to 4 or something like that. So for me, I think that's a lot of value as well, especially in basketball and especially in college hoops. I just think there's so many runs and things like that
that's a great idea.
Mention all the time. Listen, I'm full of great ideas, Sean.
You are. I mean, you live the life of leisure, so it comes to no surprise to me because you're on the beach pondering, and that's what you guys do. Guys from the West Coast, they ponder.
Yeah.
It's like
big ponder.
Yep.
Big ponder on the beach. The fresh air really gets to you here. But then, and better than me as well. I mean, and you can attest this to all the viewers. I've showed you all the tickets. I think 10 parlays in 4 days, 5 days this week.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just out of control. It's just out of control, wild, the kind of NHL run that I've been on. So let's talk a little hockey. I know we only got a couple minutes left here, but, it's a little early in the day because of the starting goalies haven't quite been announced yet. But I do have some weird, interesting kind of takes tonight, and I had this take the other night where, by the way, Fleetwood ended up making an unbelievable shot, and he ended up winning 18, tying 18, and he wins the match. He wins by one. So great.
And one shout out to Dave Behrman, who's our PGA guest. He's the deputy content editor at ESPN, and he went 5-0 yesterday in his matchups, which he did tweet. And be sure to follow that, because I have not ever even expected anyone to be this good. I mean, he's not going to go 5-0 all the time. There's going to be days where he goes 2-3 or whatever. But over time, I can already tell that that's a guy to tail in the PGA Tour for sure. But anyway, back to hockey here.
I actually took Fleetwood live yesterday, 40-1. So I'm excited. He looks like he's moving on here. So, anyways, hockey. It's a little hard early in the day, but just like I told you and Albert the other day before puck dropped on, I believe, Tuesday. It wasn't the day we did the show. I believe it was the next day. I said a lot of live dogs here tonight, and had 3 dogs mixed into some money line parlays. Also took them straight up plus 140 or better, and a 210 dog as well. And I said, I think these are all live tonight. And it was a big night. But let's talk real quick about some dogs I think have a nice opportunity tonight. And I think tonight the Anaheim Ducks have a big opportunity. I always forget how to pronounce his name, but if Ville Husu, the goalie for the Blues, it looks like is going to be tonight. I think the Ducks could get a victory here with Ryan Miller in goal, and obviously if it changes to Gibson, I like it even more. The line would obviously drop down, but I think it's worth the opportunity here to play it at plus 180. The Ducks tonight. Another game I like, and I've been kind of on the Devils quite a bit. I think they're definitely live tonight as well. Wedgwood in goal looks like against Samsonov, who's he's been both of them have been good. So I think when you're getting that much value on a dog 2-1 here, I think the Devils are in play. I think the Ducks are in play, and I like the Sharks, and I like the over in the Sharks game. I think Martin Jones had an aberration the other night, stopping 38 out of 40 shots or something crazy to beat Cal Peterson and the Kings. But I think there's an opportunity here. Play the over in the Sharks Arizona Coyotes game with a slight lean to the Sharks as well. And then you got Winnipeg plus 105 against the Flames. It looks like it's going to be. Hold on, I'm pulling up the goal. It looks like it's going to be Hallenbach versus Markstrom. Listen, anytime I can get a team at even money or better playing against Jacob Markstrom when the team can score goals, I'm going to take it all day long, especially Hallenbach is the 8th rated goalie as well. Markstrom's been playing good as of late. However, I don't trust him in net at all. And I trust this Winnipeg Jets team, even though efficiency-wise and statistically-wise, they aren't that great, even though their record says otherwise. But I'm going to go ahead and take a stab here with the Jets plus 105 tonight as well.
I like Winnipeg too.
Yeah, I like them quite a bit.
Money-wise, 54% of the tickets are on Calgary, but 67% of the money's on Winnipeg. So that's a crossover, and that I agree with. That's actually a best bet in my realm too, because I know my machine learning stuff supports it as well. So you have Winnipeg here. You have the over Sharks Arizona. I think
the best bets would be Winnipeg, the Anaheim Ducks, and over the total in the Sharks Coyotes, over 5.5 minus 115. I think those would be the 3 best bets. And if you wanted to mix in some other bigger dogs into a money line parlay, I wouldn't hate it if you threw in the Devils at 2-1 and you threw the Sharks in there at minus 110.
Awesome. And in the hoops, you're going with Nova.
Going Nova, USC, and we spoke about this on the last show. Oral Roberts plus 11. I love Arkansas. Have them to win the NCAA. Still have the future live. But I think when you have a team like Oral Roberts that can knock down threes, they don't play great defense, obviously, but when they can hit threes at the rate that they do, they're always live at plus double digits. So I'm going to take a small stab at them and then look for an in-game opportunity if I can get them at plus 15 or something like that.
All right. Yeah, I'm actually on Arkansas in that game, but I'm going to play it first half. It's only -6, or it was yesterday, and then use in-game accordingly. If I can get lucky enough, if Oral Roberts goes up that high, or even 17, you run a really good chance of getting a middle accomplished in that second half.
I love that. Excuse me, but at the end of the day, listen, am I in love with Oral Roberts at 11? Not really, but I'm going to probably play 15%, 10 to 20% of the wager on this game pre-flop, and then look for an in-game opportunity. I just think that there might be a chance that Arkansas slips up. They have the 4 in the first half, and maybe middle of the game the other way, right? Oral Roberts plus 11, 10, 15% of the bet, and come back with Arkansas at money line at -130 to win the game or something like that, hopefully. So that's the way I'm going to play it, but it's not for everybody, and it's definitely very risky. So that one's just kind of a personal play for me. But yeah, no, I love the hockey plays tonight. Hopefully the hockey fire continues. It's been fantastic, unbelievable actually the last few nights. And last night I was pretty big. I know I gave out Vegas on the show at plus 160 yesterday, but I ended up pivoting, excuse me, from that play, and I ended up playing the Avalanche because of the line movement, and I also ended up playing the over the total in that game. Both of them hit, so it was a pretty great week for hockey so far. I think I'm like, I don't even know, like 20-2 or 20-3 in hockey in the last week and a half.
I've seen you do it. I mean, that's no joke. I mean, there's might be some people out there that say, "Oh yeah, right," but that's like we talked. The more you post it when you can, and I totally get it that you can't be absolutely perfect, because you are independent. You're not, you don't have clients like I have to report to and take care of. And I'm glad I have them all. But it becomes harder when you're just betting on your own and you're a pro and you're just minding your own business.
Yeah.
But be sure to
myself,
Yeah, I mean, be sure to look for he'll post them as a retweet to this show, so you won't have to go looking through 100 million different tweets to find it. But that Discord idea is I wrote that down too. That sounds like a fantastic idea to use for the in-game betting.
Yep.
Because then everybody can sit in there and they can just wait, and then bang, you don't even have to be on Twitter to get the notification. You just see it.
That's what I'm saying. You don't have to follow us on Twitter. You don't have to make sure your notifications are. You're just going to get a text message to your phone saying Ira Silver Magic likes Arkansas -2.5 up to -4 in game, lay -115 or less, basically, and that you got to find that line and you'll get that right away. So I think the Discord idea is fantastic, phenomenal, and I'm excited to get that going.
Yeah, it's definitely talk about that over the weekend for sure. So we're gonna end the show here. We have Kiev O'Neill of Odds Breakers joining me next on the show, and then at 4:15ish, Tony Finn and Rob Vino from Wager Talk will conclude my broadcasting day, which I'm really starting to enjoy quite a bit, to be honest with you. Doing these interviews and having guests on like Ira, I learn, and that's the whole purpose of these shows, is to make you better.
Hey, John, I mean, we've been at it since day one together. I've been there since the ground floor. So hopefully you don't get too big for me.
No, me, I'm too old to get big, and the betting gods are very fickle. I tweeted about having Arkansas plus 2.5 against Colgate, and then I had Oral Roberts with 1:20 to go in the money line, losing by 2 and plus 625, and I thought, oh yes. But then I went 0-3 on Sunday. So, that's how they are. And you just can't get fool yourself and think you figured it out, because you never do.
Well,
but anyway,
it was even more fickle because we all liked Alabama, and I know you pivoted off that play. So that was even more of like, oh man, the betting gods are really out to get me this week,
Yeah. You got to keep your mouth shut, I think, is what the lesson I learned for myself. So,
and as always, John, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week.
You too, Ira. Thanks a lot. And
let's not be the hydrant, right?
That's it. Always try to be the dog, not the hydrant in every activity of your life. Exactly. So for the Predictive Playbook, I'm John Ryan, and may all the wins be yours.